Hello beautiful people, schöne Leute, welcome to my channel and another recap of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 1, Episode 5. So guys, I've taken out that little stitches or I've gotten the thread or the sewing taken out of my face yesterday. No, sorry, day before yesterday. And so right now I have a little scar, but in the name of Jesus I declare that, listen, I'm not going to be having this scar in the next 2 weeks. I'm doing everything to get rid of it because hot girl can't have mark in our face, yeah? Yeah, I cannot have a mark in my face. So I declare it that in the next 2 weeks, or yeah, at the most 3 weeks, it's gonna be faded and everything healed. Right there, where the scar is still a little bit swollen, yeah. The last time I was on video, yeah, this side of my face was a little bit more swollen. My eyes were swollen. And when I right after the incident, I even had like a before and after Botox and lip injection shot going on my face. Anyways, enough of that, guys. So yeah, just grab some tea or your favorite drink, and let's just go through this whole episode of episode 5, and I'm gonna make this one very quick. Okay, so the first couple is Avery and Omar. So yeah, Avery, her mom, and Omar are now in Tunisia. Sorry, not Tunisia, Lebanon, right? And they've met and everything, and yeah, so you know, it's in the morning and Avery's like, okay, let's see what you have together, so that, you know, because apparently Omar was supposed to have made some contacts while he was in Lebanon for their wedding, or to plan their wedding, before Avery got there, and he apparently told her that he, you know, had everything under control. But now he's letting her know that you know, he didn't get to book anything or plan anything because it was hard. You know, it's not really his country. He is also a visitor. He's been living there because he's originally from Syria, and you know what's happening with Syria. So it's not really his place. He's going to school there. So, you know, yeah, he didn't get to sort everything out. You know, apparently in the space of time he should have planned. He wasn't getting through to some of the agencies or bodies that he needed to get in touch with, and so nothing is prepared. So of course Avery's, you know, throwing a fit now. She's like, look, I'm here, and I don't have much long left here, and this is supposed to have been prepared, and I need to get married to you before I leave so that I can go to the US and start filing for you, you know, because who knows if you're going to be granted a spousal visa, or a spousal visa anyways, yeah. But at least the earlier we start this thing, the better. So I'm going to go back home and do that, and try and get the process started before we can basically get you know, get back together as a married couple and live our life in Syria. That's where she's thinking. Anyways, so you know, Omar's like, you know, he didn't get a chance to do it, and it's not really his fault because, you know, he tried, but he just wasn't getting through. And Avery's like, you know, quite upset. And he's like, kind of, you know, when Avery's expressing her disappointment, he's like really quiet, taking it all in, you know, looking at her like, okay, you need to calm down, kind of thing. And at one point I think he even asked her why she was you know, why her voice was being raised or why she was shouting. So anyways, she went back to her mom, yeah, quite upset. And she's like, you know, I don't think we're going to be getting married because he didn't do what he was supposed to do. And of course, you know, mom is like, okay, so does this mean, you know, are we going to be leaving? You know, this is like a sign, right? And Avery's like, no, I still want to get married to him. It's just that, you know, we need to get this thing sorted out. So of course, you know, super mom, Avery's mom, you know, came to the rescue. You know, she's like, we came all the way from the States here in a foreign country, in a Muslim country. And I came with my daughter. I left my husband back home with everybody. There's no way we're coming all this way, and somebody's getting married, yeah? My daughter is getting married. This is what she wants, and she's brought me all this way with her. and I know her, when she wants to do something and makes up her mind to do it, you can't, one way or the other it's gonna be done. So I may as well support her. So mommy's like, okay, let's go. In the States, I guess you can go to churches, and you can, in some places you can go to a government body or registrar and register to get married and see what can happen. But of course, this is not America. But it's like, okay, if you can do it in the States, yeah, go to churches and ask, and go to registry and do this thing. There must be some way you can do it here. So Avery's mom is like, let's go. So they're, they take up themselves, and they start going around and looking for mosques and to inquire about, getting married and how soon it can be done. And, at this point, she was about to enter a mosque, or, somebody informed her that you can't be going to the mosque looking like this in your regular Western clothes, uncovered and everything. You need to be properly covered to go into a mosque, to even request this, thing that you need. So, right away she gets something to cover her face and her neck and her arms. And, yeah. And so they're able to secure a wedding date. And a soon wedding date. The mom basically came through for Avery and made things happen. So, yeah. That's it for them. I mean, the whole issue came up of, okay, Avery talking to Omar, and she's like, okay, are we gonna go back to Syria? And Omar is like, no, dear, at this time, Syria isn't livable. We can't go back there. So we're just gonna have to figure something out. I'll either have to be in the States with you, or we're gonna have to stay in Lebanon for the time being. But Syria is definitely out of the question. So anyways, next couple is, alright, this is not a couple. Next person is Caesar, yeah? Because Caesar is on this show as supposedly a couple, but apparently he's the only one who thinks he's in a relationship. So Caesar is still carrying us on this adventure of where we're thinking, is this guy really acting? Because, at some point you're like, wow, he's pretty convincing, and you just want to conk him in the head, like, listen, boy, stop the foolishness. And then, at another moment, you're like, this has got to be fake. Nobody is this daft, nobody's this stupid, because Caesar has this thing where his facial expression is just so like, oh, he has this wide eye when he's talking and a smile on his face, like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm meeting the love of my life again for the fourth time. We're planning a fifth time. We're planning a trip, and she's never turned up for the previous 4. But this time she's coming, and I trust her, and she's definitely coming, yeah? So, and you're like, is this guy for real? Yeah? So Caesar is in Mexico, and he's gotten his luggage, and he's back at the hotel. He's changed into his swimming trunks, right? And he's in the room, putting on his shades, and it's like, I'm feeling myself, yeah? Who that boy, yeah? And he's like feeling himself, like he's the best thing ever. So he's stepping out to go to the poolside because he's like excited. He thinks he's the hottest thing there, yeah? He's feeling confident and everything. And he's excited to meet his girlfriend, Maria, who's supposed to be coming there to meet him, yeah? According to him, she's supposed to be arriving the next day because, that's when she had said the flight is supposed to be the next day. So, yeah, he's in the pool, and, there's some other people there, and, he's, like, making friends, like, hey, I'm American, and they're like, yeah, where are you from, and they're also Americans, so it's like, hey, come over, He's like, what's up, man, what are you up to, yeah? I'm just relaxing. I'm here to meet my fiance who I'm going to be proposing to, and we're going to get married. And they're like, really? And he's like, I've never met her before. The usual story where they have to tell everybody their business. But except with Caesar, when he says this, it's like, so, you're like, ridiculous. Anyways, so they're like, let's, the usual thing. Let's see her. So he takes out his phone, and he's like, here's a picture of her. And then, the usual reaction from everybody's like, whoa, she's stunning. Oh my God. And they're like, and you've never met her before? And he's like, no, but she's coming here tomorrow, and I'm gonna propose to her and thing. And he just keeps going on and on and on because he knows how stupid he sounds, and he's just reaffirming to us that I'm really stupid. But I'm just gonna keep repeating this very fast so that you forget about it and just be convinced that this whole thing is real. So of course they're like, man, I don't think I think you're being catfish, dude. And of course he has this look on his face, like, it's like the whole smile and everything just disappeared. It's like, like he's never heard this before. It's like, wow, this is the first time I'm hearing this. I'm shocked. Oh my God, touch my pearls, literally. I'm shocked. Yeah. And he has this expression like, it's the worst thing ever. And he's never heard this before. And, you're like, please, Caesar, we've seen this face before, and we know you are not expecting her. There's no way after the 5th time you're expecting that she's definitely going to be making it, yeah? So they're just like confirming all your fears. So they start laughing, everybody's laughing, and they're like, no man, this is a catfish, dude, you're being tricked and everything. And, he's heard this so many times. So this, dummy, eventually we see him leaving the pool, and, they're asked, at one point the producer is asking him, have you heard anything from her? And he's like, no, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything from her since the last time, what was it, like 3 days ago or something? And they're like, okay. And he's like, but I know she's coming, I know she's probably just on the flight now, so she's not able to call. Yeah. She's on the flight, and that's why, I've been trying to reach her, and that's why I'm not getting through by message, or, and that's why she hasn't really gotten to me, because she's on the flight this whole time. And, yeah, but I know she's coming, yeah? So, that's Caesar's situation. Next couple, let's talk about Zayed and Rebecca and Zayed, right? So, of course, Rebecca once more. It's like, Rebecca has been involved with a guy, not only a guy from a Muslim culture, yeah, she's also been involved with someone from Tunisia, right? And so she's she's with Zayed in it's Lebanon, right? Yeah. So yeah, they're at the restaurant still. So we picked up from where the last time where the whole thing was building up. Where it was like, apparently he was going to get in a fight with this guy because he was staring at Rebecca, who decided to take off her jacket and reveal all of her arms and her tattoos in the restaurant, yeah? So the guy was like staring at her because not only was he seeing skin, yeah, he was seeing tattoos. And, I guess it's not usual when you see anybody in person in Lebanon walking around with tattoos. And so, yeah, most men are fascinated, because some of them will think tattoos are cool. Yeah, maybe not for women, for themselves, but either way, it's like something to look at. It's just, yeah. And of course, that is like flipping on the guy, and, they're about to fight in the restaurant, creating a big scene. And Rebecca is there the whole time, trying to tell Zayed to calm down, And then she's going to be telling us that, he reminds her a lot about her ex, and it concerns her. And the whole time I'm just like, they're like, this stupid woman, yeah? You've been through this situation before, and you're repeating the same stupid thing, and you're going to pretend like you didn't see this coming, and that it's not your fault, yeah? That everything is happening in the restaurant. The only thing you had to do is keep your jacket on, and there wouldn't have been a problem. So anyways, the next thing, next scene we're moving, Zayed is taking Rebecca to meet his parents, yeah? And so they're traveling to his parents, and he actually suggested that she wear, a proper traditional outfit, something that's not like what she's been wearing before, and that will hopefully cover up a bit more. Even though with Rebecca's tattoos, you can't miss them because they're like full arm going into her hands. So it's like she literally have to be wearing something covering her up to here for you not to see that she has on tattoos. And there's no problem with tattoos. It's not even about her tattoos. It's about the fact that she's playing naive, going to a country where it's frowned upon and it's not the norm. And women aren't supposed to be looking this way. And she's been in a relationship with a guy from a Muslim background before, yeah, of a Muslim persuasion before. So, you know, she's acting all brand new and like she don't know what is happening. So she goes to the parents' house. She's talking about how she feels so uncomfortable, because I guess it's uncomfortable to be in something that's loose fitting and is covering you completely. So she goes to the parents' house. They are going into the door and crosses Rebecca. First thing she going to people in them house, she go broke something, right? So she's like, well, maybe this is good luck or whatever. So, she's in the house. The parents are welcoming her, because they're trying to be very open, and you can see that they're supportive of their son. And, even though he's dating an older woman who's almost the age of his mom, it's like, okay, yeah, we're open people, yeah, to an extent, because we're still religious people and we still have our traditions, and, we still think some things are right and some things just aren't. So they invite her into the house, meal is prepared and everything, and she's sitting around the table. And of course, Dad gave her the full rundown in the car before, like, okay, we're going to my parents' house. Do not tell them that we slept together. Do not tell them that we slept together, and do not try to keep your tattoos from showing, which is like, but yeah, try to not to reveal too much of your tattoos, and yeah, stuff like that, the basic tip, which she would, anyway, she should already have known. So yeah, the parents are there, they're around the table eating, and of course, Rebecca's tattoos start revealing themselves little by little while she's around the table, eating, and the loose fitted clothes, her tattoos are showing. And the parents at once, both of them, you could see, like, they recognize the tattoo, and they're like, oh wow. It's like, you think that one of her nipple or one of her breasts just flew out, the parents were like, okay. So anyways, they kept eating, they were trying to be decent people and not making a scene of it, but it's gonna come up after. And yeah, so that's basically the whole thing. Rebecca is pretending as if she's new to this whole thing, and she doesn't know how to behave around people of the Muslim culture, and she's trying to pretend as if people are forcing her into a mold and to be something that she isn't, and it's not even about that. She's just being too naive, and it's not cute anymore. So the next couple is Akini and what's his name, Germaine, or yeah, Akini and the American guy who's training to be a minister, and who has been married before and has a little son, and he's now in Kenya. And Akini, they're in the car, and Akini's like, okay, I have something to tell you. You're not going to be staying by an Airbnb anymore. I don't know if she was in charge of booking that Airbnb, so she's like, you're going to be staying at my brother's house. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, you're going to be staying at my brother's house, because the culture here is my brother as the firstborn son, or the older son, and he takes on the role of monitoring the sisters in the family and taking care of them and making sure they're okay, and that means that he's also involved in who they get married and scouting out these persons. So he wants to keep an eye on you, basically. And so you're going to be staying with him. So he's like, okay, yeah. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm here. I may as well, abide. So, of course, they're in the car, and, he's like, oh, my chocolate, whatever. And she's like, my vanilla, blah, blah. Because I guess, they're still getting used. Even though for what am I calling him? Is it Germaine or oh, that guy. He's been married to a black woman before, so, it's not unusual for him. But, you can understand Akini, this is her first time seeing a white guy in person. And in fact, it's the first time for many people in her village to see a white guy in person. It's something that is almost like a thing of mythology where, okay, we've seen you on YouTube, on TV, in the newspaper, etc., maybe in magazines, but, it's like, okay, we know you exist, but, until we actually see you in person, it's like, wow, mystical. So she's still in that whole vibe, but you know, she's telling him that he's gonna be staying with her brother, and they're getting down to business. So they get to the house, the brother's house, and you know, everybody's expecting them. And you know, there's like a whole group of women. There are about what, 5 women or 6? I don't know. It just seems like so much. And everybody's like, you know, welcoming him. It's like everybody planned a meeting. Like, okay, Akini's coming with her white man, so everybody's gonna come to this house now so that we can meet him. And you know, even though I'm sure that's not even half of our family, the fact is it was just. Anyway, so they enter the house, and you know, you have all these ladies catering and helping to take the stuff and welcoming them in, and you know, then everybody's seated on a couch, and you have this one other guy, sender guy, and then you have Akini's brother, right? I forgot his name. Anyways, yeah, good looking, you know, good looking black guy, yeah, seated there looking like he's in charge, yeah, with all the other, his harem of women. You know, I think he probably has like, what, 3 of them are his wives, I think. And then there was Akini's sister who, the other guy is her husband. And I think a couple of them are her sisters, the guy's sisters as well. You know, Akini and her brother, they're sisters. But I think they're about 2 wives, because I remember her saying, this is my sister-in-law. And my sister-in-law, she said that's about two times, maybe, or 3. Yeah, I don't remember. So anyways, you know, everybody's seated and they're like welcoming him. He's sitting down, he's shaking everybody's hand, and you know, quite awkwardly, you know, which I would probably feel a bit awkward as well, but you know, yeah. It is what's when you know that you're being your genuine self, and you know, yeah. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, they're seated, and so you know, the brother is like, okay, so how is it so far, you know, coming here? And he's like, well, I've never traveled outside of North America before. Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. It's my first time here. And so they're like, okay. And so, you know, at one point, Akini went out of the room. I think, you know, after the introductions and everything, and the initial, you know, introductive words, everybody left. You know, Akini came back with a gift at first, yeah, before everybody left. Akini came back with, you know, I guess she got him some little traditional, you know, things saying Kenya, with Kenyan flags or whatever, and some traditional braided armbands and some other little gifts. And, you know, it's like, okay. He's like, thank you. And this guy's like, you know, smiling from ear to ear, and yeah. So he's like, okay, where's my gift? Would you believe this stupid... call him man stupid. Would you believe this man, yeah? He's been talking to Akini for all this time, this beautiful woman, this African goddess, yeah? And he's visiting her in her country. What do man travel with? What is in all his luggage? You're telling me he didn't think of even if I stop at the airport and buy one perfume? Which is the least you could do to save, to say, oh gosh, maybe I get her nothing, let me get something at the airport. Perfume, you know, some stuff, you know, she wears makeup, get her some stuff, yeah? This guy come empty-handed. Yeah, you're going to a culture where you know that you have to be paying a bride price, yeah? So, this man never thinks, okay, you know, who has he been dating? Or, I mean, I know he says he hasn't dated for a while because, you know, he's been divorced and everything, and he was trying to get out there, but, you know, how did he even get his wife? This guy is pathetic. I mean, I know he says he's broke. We know he's broke because, you know, he has to be paying alimony, possibly, and he has his son to take care of, or, you know, I don't think he's paying alimony, but he's taking care of his son, and he claims that divorce took most of what he had, right? But you're dating again, and you managed to find your way to the country, and because you might have to come up with a bride price. You think, okay, I don't need to get any gift for the woman I'm about to marry, you know. That's not important because I'm gonna have to be paying whatever this amount of money is, if it is that I can manage to pay it. This guy come empty-handed. You know, when I'm traveling, visiting anywhere, yeah, and especially if I'm staying with hosts or basically friends that I know, and I'm staying by them, or even if I'm not staying by their place, the fact that I'm going to their country, and you know these are friends, and he's like, okay, I'm coming here. Would you like something? Yeah, basic stuff. Would you like something? Yeah, maybe they have like a favorite thing, you know, because some of my friends are Jamaicans. Well, yeah, the few times I've traveled to places where I have Jamaican friends, you know, sometimes they want something from Jamaica that they haven't had in a while, or you know, maybe they're not visiting, they haven't visited recently, and they want something, and you try and you know carry a couple things, or one or two things for them, yeah. And then of course, if it's somebody who's not Jamaican, you carry something that you think they would like based on their taste. That you know, okay, this is a little bit of Jamaica for you, yeah. You know, some alcoholic thing, or you know, something. You travel with stuff for people. So that's like the basic thing. And I'm a female, but I do this anyways because, you know, I know I'm going to be seeing friends. And you carry a gift, a gesture to say, okay, yeah, maybe I'm staying by your place on some occasions. So yeah, you know, I'm taking something for you. And even if I'm not, because I've come here and I'm not staying by sometimes I'm not staying by a friend's place, I still take something for them. You know, it's just like a decent gesture of friendship or something. So the woman you're dating and you're thinking of marrying, you never think, say, let me carry something for her. It's just so strange to me. This big old workless man come, yeah, this beautiful woman that he's trying to be with, to marry, and he didn't even think of carrying her a bottle of perfume, yeah. Anyway, so he says he didn't carry anything, and you can look at everybody's expression. It's like, yeah, is this guy for real? What are you? What, you're just supposed to be the gift? It's like, okay, I'm the gift. Yeah, that's good enough. Anyways, let's move on from that because I could talk some more about this. It really irked me. The fact that this guy decided that he didn't even think of carrying a gift. Nothing at all. Just him source herself. I mean. So anyways, you know, the brother, you know, everybody cleared out because Akini was quite shocked and disappointed, and she was, you know, telling the camera that, you know, she would assume that he's a romantic guy because they've been talking, and, you know, so it's very disappointing that he didn't take anything for her. And girl, I'm disappointed for you too. Anyways, so yeah, everybody cleared out of the room, and now it's Akini's brother, and oh gosh, yeah, it's a reason I don't remember his name, because I mean he's just too stingy, too mean, too ridiculous for me to even remember his name. Me forget his name. So yeah, the brother is like there now, you know, being the presence of authority, manly authority in the house, and he's like, okay. And you know what I liked about him? He had this quiet assertiveness about him, quiet authority about him. He wasn't loud, you know. He was gentle, spoken in slow, gentle, monotone voice, but there was still this authority to it. And he was like, so, you're here, you know, you're interested in my sister. You haven't bought her anything, basically. And so you're interested in marrying her? You know, it's like, okay, make it make sense. You can't afford to buy her a gift, but you want to get married to her. Do you know that you're going to have to be paying a bride price? Do you know that you should be able to take care of my sister? Yeah? It don't matter if you're coming from America and, you know, that, yes, so you're offering her a possible American visa and citizenship at some point. But, you know, that's not good enough. I need to know that you're capable of taking care of my sister, because, you know, we don't really do divorces here. Yeah? We don't do divorces here. We make sure that we're able to take care of our family and our wives. Yeah? So what are you doing with your life? Because from what I understand, you have a wife, yeah, who is still alive, and you're not together. Yeah? What is that? You basically need to get your stuff you need to manage your business at home before you can even think about taking on my sister as a wife, right? So he's there, you know, dumbfounded. He's like, okay, because I mean, what are you gonna say to that? What are you gonna say to that? He already told us that he don't even think he can afford to marry this girl. He's traveled all the way to Kenya from the States. Him scrape up that money somewhere, and he's going to tell us that going all that way, he's not even sure if he can afford to marry her. So, you know, that's basically it with Akini and him. The next person is oh boy, is it Timothy? Yeah, Timothy and oh boy, Timothy and is it Jennifer or Rebecca? Oh, okay, Timothy and the chick from Colombia, the pretty chick from Colombia. So, anyways, he's there now. They're going out for dinner. She said that okay, my parents are gonna come and pick up my daughter because they've basically gone to the I guess she probably booked a villa for him, or I don't know if it was, yeah, but I don't think it's a hotel. It seems like some kind of Airbnb. So they're at this place, and of course, after he gave her all her Fashion Nova stuff, it's like okay. So they're going for dinner, and my girl, dressed up and everything in her nice fitted dress and boots, and they're at this restaurant, and they're seated and everything, and they're talking, they're trying to get a little bit about each other, and she's telling him a bit about okay, meeting her father, her family, and because she's thinking of taking him to her father's farm, and so they're talking, and she's like, in their conversation, he mentioned something, because the whole time she's looking at him, he's looking well manicured, and the whole thing, and he's like, I don't get my fingers dirty, yeah. He might as well have done this. I don't get my fingers dirty. Okay, yeah. And she's like looking at him, is like, who the hell is this sissy boy? She's like, you're a pussy. You are, and she just said it plain out, you're a pussy. Because that's the privilege that beautiful women get to say whatever they want out of their mouth, yeah, sometimes. So she's like, you're a pussy. And he's like, what do you mean? Like taken aback that she actually said it. Because he knows that, he is one. And he's like, no, it's just like, this man with he's just too much for me. I told you already that this guy reminds me of like a little, something about him is just giving me a lesbian vibe, except he's not a woman, he's a man, yeah? But he just, to me, he just looks like one of those very bushed lesbians, yeah? There's still this, a lot of femininity about them, but, they maybe their style is to be more masculine looking, and so they'll have on masculine clothes and probably have the hair cut that way, and the whole thing. But he still has this very masculine, but they still have a very masculine vibe, that they're lesbians that are just dressing masculine, and that's the vibe he gives me off. His lashes are long and dark to the gods, which that's not a problem, because men have beautiful lashes. They grow hair, eyebrows, and eyelashes even sometimes better than us women, because I swear my son has beautiful lashes, thicker lashes than I do, and my lashes aren't thin, yeah, but he has some nice thick lashes and nice eyebrows, yeah. So, but he's still masculine. You still know that he's a boy. But the thing is, with Timothy, his eyebrows are even shaped up as far as I'm concerned. He's just looking too much, looking like too much of a lesbian for me. Anyways, so, they left the restaurant and they're back at the apartment. And, it's time to go to bed. And he's like, okay, I have stuff for you to wear overnight if you wish to stay. And she's like, okay, yeah. Yeah, because, she's trying to feel this guy out, trying to see, develop some chemistry. Because according to her, she said to us that he's not her type, basically. He's not her type because, I guess she's picking up on the same vibe that I'm picking up on. He's just too feminine, yeah? Too girly. There's just something very feminine about him. And in addition to the fact that he's still in his ex-fiance's life and having her running his life, at every move, that's just not masculine at all. So she's like, he's not my type at all in looks, yeah, but he seems like a family guy because he's taking care of his ex's daughter, and that impresses me because yeah, I'm a single mom and I'm looking for, I want resources and I want a man to take care of me and my daughter. But, chemistry is also important because I do want to be with somebody who I'm attracted to. But she's not too sure about that. So that's where she's trying to see where that will come in this little visit. And so far, he's like, you know, he's probably killing all of those little excitement that would happen when you're like, okay, this person proves to be a responsible guy, family guy, yeah, maybe let's see how much he gets my heart jumping and other things jumping. And so far it's not happening, and he just keeps killing whatever attraction she has, because he's at the house. Yeah, he's like, okay, come and lie down, and she's probably thinking that, okay, he's gonna make a little move. Yeah, this guy's putting on eye mask on her face, putting on mask on her face like they're having some, what you call it, some, what's it, sleepover. They're having some kind of, oh gosh, what's the term again? Where girls have sleepovers, and that they do each other's nails and, like maybe try some makeup and comb each other's hair and thing. Yeah? So, like a slumber party. So it's like they're having a slumber party. She's lying down on the bed and, she probably thinks this guy's gonna approach her, do something romantic or, make a move. And he's pampering her and putting, and I mean, nothing's wrong with a man pampering you. But in his situation, he's supposed to be coming on a bit more strong because he's just giving too much feminine energy. Yeah? And, yeah, you pamper her and thing, but yeah, send her to get her face done, whatever. It's the first time you're meeting, it's your first night together, yeah? You're trying to see if you guys have chemistry. I mean, he claims that he obviously is into her, yeah, and he's attracted to her. But so far, he's like killing every attraction that she has. And that's what he's been doing the whole time. And, I must say, there's nothing, there's something to be said about a man who, has a lot of because I like when a man has self-control, yeah? I like when a man, and especially coming from my culture, in Jamaica, where men are always, very, very, very forthcoming with how they feel and what they think, and, and they're in your face and they're very aggressive with, how they'll approach you, to the point where for some people it's kind of like a hustle. It's like, okay, I just want to go out one day and not be called to or not be, whatever. But that's our culture and you kind of get used to it and it's fine, you manage it, and you're like, okay, hey, whatever, you call back to people, but you still assert that, okay, don't take it any further. And as you get older, it becomes easier to do, yeah? But at the end of the day, it's like, he's not the kind of guy who needs to be doing that right now because he's just presenting too much feminine energy. And, while it's nice when a guy has, good self-control and you like that, okay, I don't want to, we're just meeting the first time, I want to respect you. I'm not going to be trying to jump your bones the first night, or at least, but, at least that they would want to, and they're just, practicing self-control. There's just something very attractive about a man when you know that he's really into you and he's attracted to you physically and everything, but he's controlling himself. But you still know. This is something you still know. You still feel the energy. You still feel it. You still know. There are other things he'll do, maybe caress your face, kiss you, or, hold your hand, do stuff, whatever. But he just wasn't doing all of that. He was just being so awkward, and she was like, there, like, okay. And she's a Latin woman, yeah, just like a Caribbean woman. And, at one point I was like, trying to say, okay, let's cut him a little slack because he's an American man, and I know these days, because I've heard it before as well from one or two American men, and even European men, about the fact that, women, it's very easy to find yourself getting in trouble or being accused of being inappropriate with women. So they have to be very careful and be on their P's and Q's. And, in the Caribbean and Latin American country, we also have rules about, in the workplace, about being inappropriate or, there's some things but, yeah. And even on the streets, there are certain rules. But at the end of the day, you know, you're out on the road, and you know, men are calling to you. You don't mind sharply passing, and a guy will grab your hand, kind of thing. I've seen even worse things happen in my life. Yeah. But you know, they're a bit more, and they'll call to you, and they'll be up in your face, and they'll be coming up and walking beside you, or you know, in some cases, you know, you're walking about your business, and a car will be driving the opposite direction on the road where it's not supposed to be driving to try and get your attention, kind of thing. Yeah. So you know, coming from that culture where she's more used to men being more aggressive, and then she's dating an American man where he's been taught that, okay, you know, you have to be very careful because you're bordering on harassment and you can get in serious legal trouble for things like this. So I'm trying to cut him some slack to say, okay, maybe this is where he's found himself, you know, where he's like, okay, how do I, you know, toe that line? But you can still do that and still be respectful and not forceful with, and still show that you are interested in someone and still build chemistry. Yeah. And not to mention the fact that, you know, she's giving you all the cues, and you know, maybe that's the thing, maybe he doesn't know how to read all the cues. So next couple is Darcy and Tom, right? So of course, Tom is like, okay, Darcy, you know, we're gonna go, I'm taking you somewhere today, we're gonna go play cricket. Yeah, I'm gonna take you to play some cricket today. And Darcy's like, okay, yeah, what do I wear? So, you know, she's trying to look cute. She's in the mirror, you know, doing her makeup and everything, and getting her hair done, and laying her baby hair, you know, I can relate. So she's all ready, and, you know, Tommy's like, okay, yeah. So on the way, they pass this jewelry store, I think, and, you know, he's like, they're like looking at it, and, you know, Darcy's like, is that the ring you're going to be proposing to me with? Is that what we're going to, you know, is that the ring that you're going to use to get married? We're going to get married with? You know, so Darcy's just all over the place. She's just on, she just continues with the whole thing, like, you know, is this the church we're going to get married in? Is this the ring we're going to get married in? Is this the song we're going to play at our wedding? Is it, you know, she's just like, everything is about getting married, and, you know, to Tom. And Tom, you know, in the beginning, he was like kind of just glossing over it and not paying it any mind. But, you know, after a while, you know, it's like, it's becoming a real pain, and he's getting tired of the whole thing. But once more, he just, you know, he ignores the whole thing and doesn't say anything. So we get to this place, right? And they're like, okay, you know, this is where we're gonna play. And Darcy gets introduced to the facilitator, and you know, it's time for her to change. And you know, of course, you know, she's trying to spiff up in her cute little outfit, because even though she's going to be learning a sport, and it's sport, and after she's done up her hair and her makeup and everything, girls still want to look cute playing sport, yeah? And according to her, she made a joke like, you're gonna be what? Doing, what was it? She said scarf, whatever. She made some reference to some other insect kind of thing. So it was funny. And I'll tell you guys, my relationship with cricket, you know, coming from the Caribbean, Jamaica, cricket is a big thing, or has been a big thing. You know, not so much now. I don't think, even in my generation, I don't think it was so much of a huge thing. But people still love cricket. Yeah, some people still do. And men particularly pay attention to it. And my mom was a cricket lover. At least she was a big supporter of the West Indies cricket team. Yeah? And I couldn't care less about cricket. And I think it didn't help either the fact that my mom would be, you know, we would have one television in the house, yeah, in the living room, and we'd have cable and everything else. And then when it's cricket time, my mom would be sitting in front of the TV in any free time we have, and she'd dominate the TV watching cricket. And it used to annoy the heck out of me, because even though I was a big reader at those times, you know, it was just annoying, because it's like you could not watch anything else. TV was off. Basically, the only thing you could watch if you wanted to watch it was cricket. And I don't know if that's why I really hated it. You know, in addition, I thought it was a boring sport. You know, I tried watching it once and enjoying it and tried to understand the game. And I think, okay, I get it. And that was maybe one or two times. But other than that, it was like so annoying, you know, having to, you know, either sit there and watch cricket or just go do something else, you know. And sometimes there are other things you want to watch on TV, other programs going on cable, and you want to watch it. And, you know, my mom is like taking over the whole thing. So I was never a cricket fan, and I would never have I've never gone to a cricket match, and never would have gone to one. What says really watching it on TV? So anyways, you know, it's like, okay, yeah. I'm going to be teaching her, this sport as well. And, I want to prove that I'm like a very masculine guy. I'm still trying to impress her because I'm a cool guy. And I'm a cool British guy and very sportly, yeah. So, he's like, okay, they're playing. And she's like, Darcy's in her little shorts and her thing looking so tiny. So cute and tiny. And her legs are basically doing this thing like, and, so she's like making fun of the whole thing. So, yeah, she has the bat and, Tom is like, okay. And he's like, trying to practice his whole formation, looking bossy, running down the thing like, okay. And throwing the ball really hard, not even taking time to say, okay, this is her first time. Obviously, she's a little woman and very dainty. Let me take time with her. Yeah, he doesn't care because, I'm going to prove that I'm a big athletic person. And so, yeah, he's there and, Darcy's trying to hit the thing with the bat, which is not light anyways, I've heard. Yeah. And she's like, try hitting it. And I was like, bada bada boo. She's like hitting the thing. And, what happened to Tom now because he might try to show off. He ended up going ring him foot. So that was funny. So anyways, we basically find out that Darcy and Tom are going to be, Tom is like not too pleased about the fact that he has to put off whatever plans he had about going to the Canary Islands and blah blah, because now Darcy's sister wants them to go to Albania, because Darcy's sister is in Albania, or going to Albania to visit her fiance. And she's like, it's not too far, you can just come across because I want to meet Tom to see if he's right for you. And I'm like, okay, I know you guys are twins, but like your sister is going over to meet this guy for the first time, just allow her to get to know him and think, why you just up in them face? If things are going well, then you can meet him another time. But that's basically, Tommy's like, okay, I'm gonna have to change my plans, but yes, we'll go and meet her sister. So that's in the works. And then, Darcy with her overbearing self is like, up in Tom's face this whole time, because according to her, they've been talking for 4 years and now they finally met. They should be getting things on together in the bed. And I'm like, you've known this guy for 4 years, but you've not been dating for 4 years. You've been dating somebody else. And then you've recently started seeing him now, or trying to explore where things could go. Darcy, what's the rush? Let the man initiate the thing. Why you, it's like, when are you going to sleep with me? I've been here when nothing has happened. Are we going to be, that's such a turn off, yeah? Even as a female, that's a turn off watching it, Darcy. You need to stop it. Just let the guy initiate things. See where it goes, build some chemistry. See if he's right for you, yeah? So, yeah, I think, that's all the couples, I believe. Yeah, I haven't missed anybody. Oh my gosh. No, it's not all the couples. How could I forget Angela? I was leaving her for last, but I don't know why I thought Angela and Michael. How could I forget Angela? Yeah? Angela gives this whole thing life. Yeah? Angela gives this whole show life. And I tell you already, I like Angela because her personality to me is just everything, and she just reminds me of some, Caribbean auntie. Because she's just full of life and she just has a lot of energy, and she's, she's just like bubbly and everything. And so, yeah, she's in a room with her daughter packing for Nigeria, and she's taking out some, underwears and stuff that she have for Michael. Most of them have the president's face on it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure President Trump ever found out that I ever watched this show and found out that Angela carrying underwear for Michael with his face on his private part. He would not be pleased at all. Not to mention the fact that she's trying to carry him to the States. Anyways, so yeah, she's there, throwing stuff off, and he's like, okay, yeah, this is what he's going to wear. It's a lot of space because he needs a lot of space. Yeah, trying to let us know that, okay, yeah, we get it, Angela. We get it. And her daughter is like, what's up with all this thing? This excitement and everything is still going, and you're getting all these things, and you're still complaining about the relationship. Anyway, so Angela is in Nigeria now. Let's skip to that. Angela is back in Nigeria. Yeah, Michael is meeting her at the airport, and they're like so happy to see each other. At one point, Michael they were showing us Michael in Nigeria, and he was basically letting us know that he's not working now because Angela basically has employed him full time so that he will stay out of trouble, so she can monitor him and she can reach him when she wants to. And apparently work is interfering with that. So Michael is not really working. He's at home with his mom, and his auntie, I think it was. And yeah, he's not working. And apparently Angela is funding some of this, or I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, he's meeting with his friends, and I think his friends know that, listen, I'm not working right now because this is what Angela wants and it make her happy, so she can reach me whenever. And I'm basically, she knows I'm gonna run off I see some little girl or some woman some other place, so that's fine, yeah. And yeah, his friends are kind of like laughing at him, kind of like how in Jamaican we would say, I say yeah, man a yard or something, or this the other term that they use to mention a domesticated man, where you're not working, the woman is in charge, and she paying the bills and everything, and you're basically just at home, like with his mom. And he's like, listen, I'm not listening to what you guys saying, because guess what? I'm trying to keep this woman very happy, because my aim has always been to go to the States, yeah? And whatever she wants right now, I'm going to be doing it to make her happy, because I'm going to the States. And I don't blame Michael, Michael, he's made it pretty clear that he's always wanted to come to the United States. And yeah, I'm all for that. Michael need to get a visa. He need to get a stay in the US, yeah? Because he's been dealing with a lot with Angela. And even though I think he's genuinely interested in Angela, yeah, he's over his head, because Angela is an experienced woman and she's a bossy woman, right? So he's over his head. But basically, he's doing what he needs to do now so that he can go to the States. So basically, they're at the airport now, they've met and everything, happy to see each other and everything, and they're like, yeah, hugging each other and feeling up each other's bum, and the excitement, and Angela with her loud self, it's just like, it's just so interesting to watch. And Michael is just like grinning from ear to ear, because his mama is back, big mama. And so okay, let's do this again. So yeah, so they're feeling on each other and happy to see each other. And so Michael, in his I guess in his rush or whatever to get into the airport, parked in the wrong spot at the airport. And so they're leaving to go home, and all of a sudden it's like a big SWAT team, it's like this big excitement, like some movie scene from Russia or something, where or Speed, they're driving, and then all of a sudden this other van just drive up in beside them, and they're like, okay, you need to pull over, because apparently we need to get your vehicle or something, or put it on this record thing, because you were parked in it. And Michael is like, no, I'm not stopping. So they drive up in front of Michael, and they're basically like, see, I just changed to full patrol a while ago. Guys, yeah, I'm a bit distracted. I actually took a call, so if this thing jumps, yeah. Anyways, so they pull up in front of Michael, and all of a sudden he's like, what are you doing? So he came out of his car, and Angela is there like looking. And then, Michael approaching this group of men, and they're trying to get the thing on his wheel, and he's like, no, that's not happening, you're not taking my car. And apparently one of the men actually hit him, yeah. Of course, I must tell you, Angela, I just like Angela. Yeah, we don't have any, I think, our personalities are completely different, I think, but I just admire it because she just reminds me so much of a Caribbean woman, yeah? But anyways, Angela is like a ride or die chick, yeah? Angela jump out of the vehicle because, listen, man, Michael is in the middle of all these men, and something is happening, and she's going to defend her man, and Angela is ready to fight, yeah? Because she's grabbing at people, and she's like, listen, leave my car alone, step away from my car, wait, what are you doing? Yeah? And she was ready to clock one of the other guys, as she said to Michael after, when she saw that apparently somebody punched him. And Michael went and got back the guy, and somebody else apparently about to, and Angela was like ready to grab the guy, and Angela is a big girl, so I think she can, and she's not a big lazy woman. I think she could have handled herself a little bit, yeah. At the end of the day, she's a woman, no matter how big she is, or how bad or thick or muscular she is. At the end of the day, men are men, and you can't really outdo men, and especially a group of men. But Angela was ready to throw down, and trust me, because I don't think they would be attacking her if she was getting involved. But she'd probably end up getting a straight thump or something. But I'm thankful that never happened, you know. But it was good to see that, you know, Angela was there ready to defend her young boyfriend, and you know she has no fear, yeah. And she was like, you know, I'm ready. I'm ready to get locked up in a foreign country, cause yeah, I'm ready to get locked up in a foreign country. I'm a ride or die chick, yeah. I defend my man, and I'm ready to get locked up in a foreign country. So, and I mean, nothing's cool about trying to get locked up and getting in fights, but you know, the fact is it was happening, and it was good to see that Angela was defending her, you know, defending her boyfriend, yeah, or her husband to be. So, you know, that was cute. So anyways, that's it for all the couples, guys. Yeah, thanks for watching. Join me soon. I'm kind of rushing today because I'm trying to put up another video. I'm trying to do, yeah, I'm still supposed to be putting up that video about initial impressions, but also I'm trying to do, I have a very small, when I say very small, collection of something I actually ordered online, and this is like a first for me, so I'll get more into that. So that will be coming up soon. So I'll be doing a little bit of a try on. So yeah, it's good to see you back. You know, come back again and like, subscribe, and share all my videos, and make, you know, like with those thumbs up, and make some comments in the section, guys. Don't be afraid. I will bite, yeah. Comment below. What do you think about this episode of 90 Day Fiance and my, you know, take on it, and what's your take on it, yeah? And yeah, let's get chit-chatting down there. Bye, guys. Tschüss.